What's up guys, it's Chris Majestic here with Majestechs, and I'm gonna ask the question a couple of times of where do I store my large files, or where do I store the data on my network? I have what's called a NAS device, or network attached storage, and the one that I use is a fairly cheap and simple one, and it's called the Western Digital MyCloud. It runs for about $170, but this one is really good. They do make a 2-drive version called the Western Digital MyMirror, which has 2 drives in it, so if one drive dies, you do have the other one there. So do keep in mind that with the MyCloud, since it's a single drive, if that drive dies, you actually lose your data. So the cool thing about it though is it does have a USB 3.0 port on the back, so you can connect an external hard drive to it, and you can actually go into the configuration for the MyCloud and set that drive up as a backup, so that even if the Western Digital drive does die, you still have your critical data. I've had this thing for about 2 years. I haven't had any issues with it, so as far as reliability goes, as long as you have a steady connection to it and it gets power, it's just fine. I was actually kind of impressed by the speeds I get out of this thing. On average, I get anywhere between 75 and 85 megabytes per second, which is fairly impressive considering that it's not a super fast drive, but it works pretty well over gigabit. So you can actually use this thing just like you would iCloud or Google Drive or any other cloud service, but it's your own device and you're controlling where it is. It's sitting in your house. It's not sitting on some server you know nothing about. So if you're worried about the security or just having your data out there in the cloud, you have your own cloud here at home. It does have a web configuration page where you can pretty much configure everything over the web interface. The web interface is gonna show your users, it's gonna show your available storage, drive health, users, network shares, access security, and backup options. The only bad thing I can say about this is that it doesn't have Wi-Fi. I mean, not that I would recommend it anyway. Wi-Fi is definitely going to be a lot slower than a gigabit Ethernet connection would. However, that's not a big issue. I wouldn't expect it anyway. The other thing is that the USB port can't actually be used to connect it to your computer, so it's only used to add an external drive. So the only way to actually access it is over your network. And the last thing is that it is fairly complex to set it up how I would recommend you to set it up. Again, I would recommend you change some of the initial security settings. That can be a bit difficult if you're not that technical. However, they do make it as simple as they can as far as setup goes, and it is very easy to use once you get it done. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please make sure you hit that like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to Majestechs, and as always, thanks for watching.